The following video comes with a warning. Some of these pictures are pretty graphic, so if you don't want to see what someone looks like that's had an encounter with a knife, do not watch this video. You have been warned.
Where the kicks at? Where the pains? Where the holes? Where the throws? You know what I'm saying? Cecil.
Now, before I get to my Monday morning quarterbacking, I'm just going to say this right up front. You survived, you alive, your technique worked, in my opinion. I'm not on this, you must get away without a scratch, per se, to say that your technique worked. To me, your technique worked if you survived. Your technique worked. Now, let me get to the pictures that were posted in the Facebook group that I'm a member of to show you what actually happened. Again, you've been warned. These photos are definitely not for the faint of heart. Problem with blood. Don't watch this. These pictures are from the martial arts community on Facebook. They were posted by Peter Metler. Basically, there was a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner who got attacked by someone who was wielding a knife. And he got cut up pretty bad because he went and grappled with the man. Or it could have been a woman, I don't know. But he went and grappled with the attacker, and he did not realize the attacker had a knife. And as you can see in these pictures, this says BJJ works against knives and saves another life. Okay? So as you can see from these pictures, he got cut up pretty bad. If there's anything I can say in terms of being critical of being Monday morning quarterbacking are as follows. Number one, I think the best thing to do is if you know the person has a knife, is to try to get a weapon of your own. And it seems like in this situation, from what I've read, he didn't know that the person he was dealing with had a knife. So without giving let's get the obligatory things out the way of try not to have any confrontations. It probably would have been best if there's somebody at your front door to call the cops if possible. If you have a gun, it would be preferable that you use that because you don't know if the person is armed or not. And depending on where you live, you may be able to use your gun because there are stand your ground laws and castle doctrine laws that apply. So you want to do that if possible. But if you can't, if for some reason you're at the front door and you get ready to engage with a person, that's why I like to have striking as my primary, punch kick as my primary, taekwondo as my primary, and judo as my secondary. I like to think of judo techniques as I don't really want to hurt this person, but I might need to slam or stun them if things really get out of hand. I prefer to start, if we're going to fight, if I have to fight this person, I want to keep it at a distance as much as possible, just in case they have a knife. Now, critics of, for lack of a better term, striking arts, punch kick, things like taekwondo, will tell you that if you kick at someone, if they're good enough, they could cut you. They could cut your leg, cut your tendon, and then you're down on the ground. What I was taught classically is that it's good to use your leg against whatever they have, especially if you don't know what's going on, because your leg is the longest part of your body. Especially if you have long legs. They told me it's like, especially you have long legs. And I can see that. And that doesn't mean stick and leave it out there. You're going to want to kick hard and devastatingly as possible. Preferably do your kicks or your strikes where you're not on the straight line of their attack. So if this is them, you don't come straight at them. You want to move over to the side and then come at them that way. So if they're here, you're going to move over to the side and try to attack it from the side at a 45-degree angle. Don't try to be front to front going at them like this. because it's going to make it easier for them to stab you. I would recommend, things I like to fall back on or circle them if possible. And I say, go into some dirty fighting. If there's somewhere where you got dirt, you can throw it at them. That's part of improvised weapons. If there's a plant or something at your front door, then you can hit them over the head with that. This is assuming, of course, that they have a knife or you don't know their ill intent. So, but again, all that being said, you survive, you alive, that's correct to me. Okay? I prefer to put a whole bunch of different options in there inside of you. You know, like for me, I got the forms, taekwondo techniques, and I've cross-trained the judo, did amateur boxing, one amateur boxing match, did some local judo matches, local taekwondo matches. But when push comes to shove, man, what happens? What happens? What comes out is what comes out. A lot of times for me, what comes out is I can talk my way out of it. I know you can't talk your way out of everything, but what happens, happens. And you survive, you survive. Bottom line. Now, some people on the discussion of those BJJ pictures were saying that you should learn joint locks. I agree with that because I've studied those too. I would say the problem I see a lot of times with people wanting to do joint locks or study joint locks, but this is really with anything, is trying to force the technique. Don't try to force a joint lock in a situation saying, if he's got a knife, I must go for a joint lock. Go for whatever is going to end it. And this is one thing I will harp on. These type of situations, to me, this is where the best sparring is one-step sparring. Even though a lot of people don't like to call that sparring, they think you're supposed to get in there and try to go like tit for tat, toe to toe. No. When you do a one-step response, what do? Somebody's coming at you, you either block and get out of the way, but mostly you get your body out of the way, you get your body off the line of the attack, you do something to either block, parry, or redirect that energy. You come in with a counter hit that's supposed to stun them or end it right there. You might do some kind of huge throw or takedown, but you don't try to go to the ground with them in all your one steps, and you do one move to finish, and that's it. But let's take an approach that I learned in Marine Reserves. Bam! One strike. They said one shot, one kill. They're talking about shooting with the gun. Okay. Let's take that paradigm and apply it to you're going to be attacked, you don't know what's going on. Ideally, if your striking is accurate enough, if your Kyusho is accurate enough, if whatever you're doing, even if you're a boxer, you got a mean enough hook. You want to end this thing, if it's a real thing and you don't know what this person is, you want to end this thing as quickly as possible with the least amount of danger to you. So if you can come in there, if you see from the way they're standing, let's say you're a boxer, the way they're standing there or open to an uppercut, and you don't know what this person has, you can't see their hands, but they don't look like in their body language they're going to move yet, but they're going to do something. You see them flinch, man. Whack. Just end it. Just end it. Now, this is, of course, is assuming that there's no non-physical way out of it. Just end it. You got a good front kick, roundhouse kick, side kick. Throw that bad boy. You see them reaching, they're going to do something. You see them come, just go for it. Sparring is not self-defense. When I say one-step sparring, that's the name of the exercise. But one-step sparring is not what we think of traditionally as sparring. It's not getting there and mix up tit for tat. It's kya, kya, wham. Okay? Getting off the line of the attack, whether you step to what we call their inside, which is where you're still, if this is the attacker's attack, the outside is over here on this side of their arm. The inside is to this side of their arm where their torso is. But you don't want to stay in front of this, the attack. So that's all I have to say about that. In my opinion, now see, I'm saying this because there are people who would consider the fact that he got cut to be a failure in his technique. I'm not gonna die on that hill. I'm gonna say he survived. This is all about survival. Because I tell you one thing, he did something, and I bet you if he didn't know what to do at all, if he had nothing in his arsenal, okay? He had nothing in his arsenal, he would have died. So you can argue about how pretty he looked after survival. But the bottom line is he survived. He's happy with his survival. And if he's happy with his survival, I'm happy with his survival. Thanks for watching this video. Like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this with people that talk about the martial arts. And I would really love to hear from you if you actually have sound training and expertise in surviving knife encounters where they have a knife and you don't. Please educate the rest of us constructively. And peace. And as always, thank you for your time.